Welcome back to Inspired by JimmyL, a platform that is used to inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Yes, I've been featured in Forbes. I have interviewed several account-verified guests. I have even been a brand ambassador for a billion-dollar company. But you know what, honey? You are my inspiration to keep this show going. We are not here pleading for ratings and reviews. We are here to encourage you. So please be sure to subscribe and share every single episode. Don't hold the opportunity to inspire someone else. Okay, so I hate crying, but this particular episode had me extremely emotional, and I don't want to give any of it away, but find the lesson within this. Find the lesson when you know your future, but you don't necessarily know the path to get there. Listen to what Dacavien did. I'll see you guys on the other side.
You brought up so many great points. I mean, of course, I have like several questions here that I want to ask, but just in your answer and that alone, like you brought up several more questions for me. And number one, you were speaking about being human and how we don't always understand that. And especially, like you said, getting in the day-to-day, we don't necessarily have the compassion or understand that there's a human behind the person and the job and or the student. Mm-hmm. So going back along that lines of being human and not necessarily knowing the end goal. And you said you could see, or obviously you knew something was different or you were different, that there was a different calling, I should say, on your life, but you just didn't see that end goal. Going back to that headspace, do you remember what that was like? And I'm asking, of course, for selfish reasons, but but do you remember like what that was like, or how you kept pushing through? Like you know, like because like you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you at all? Like how were you pushing through that?
Oh man. Honestly, I can name a few things. One, my mom was heavily rooted in the church. And so, like, you know, a lot of it was my faith in God. You know, I have a great relationship with God. I believe in, you know, I said, God, I'm trusting in you that you're going to get me through this, because I knew I had this kind of like responsibility on my back. And I knew that I didn't want to stay homeless. So like, I knew my mom was kind of like ill and she couldn't really do what she wanted to do. And I know my mom held her head down a lot, because my mom has cried on my shoulders, literally. And so like, when I saw that, like, you know, it's like when you see your mom cry on your shoulder, it brings about a different level of like drive to like make sure that all this hard work that she has put in all these years, raising 5 kids by herself, that I'm not gonna fail on her. Like anything that I can do to help, I'm gonna help. And so, you know, and I remember my little brother and sister looking up to me. Like my little sister looks up to me all the time. You know, we have a great relationship. My little brother too. And you know, the fact that I knew I was leading, and also I was trying to help, it was just like, I can't give up. Like I don't have any room to give up, because like literally I'm the only option at this point, because my little brother and sister are in middle school, so they can't do nothing. And then my mom, she's trying her best, and I see that like you know, and it's like, you know, I didn't tell a lot of people at first, because I knew my mom, you know, had this, you know, a mother's love is unconditional, and I was like, my mom is trying her best, and I know that she doesn't feel the best right now because she's trying her best, and yet here we are. And I was like, I know my mom is feeling some type of way, but I don't want that to go to waste, you know, because I saw my mom work 2 jobs. I saw my mom, you know, being treated wrong. I saw my mom being talked about. I saw my mom hold her head down. I saw my mom, you know, cry because of one of my siblings, my older siblings, you know. And so it was just like, I can't be that son. And like, I think because one thing that I've always had is a heart, and my heart, I think, is one of my strengths, is because like my heart has a resilience, but it also have a love that is like unconditional. You know, like my job is not, I believe in going through life as in being a light. You know, I don't believe in, I'm a liberal. So like, you know, I'm a liberal. So like, I believe in going through life and saying, you know, it's not my job. It's not my job to say how you're supposed to live your life, what your life is supposed to look like, whatever the case may be. my job is supposed to, if we cross my path, there's a reason that you cross my path. And my job is to shine light on your path if I can, and, love you or do whatever I can for you. And that's my job.
I've got to take this to a different level. I didn't know if I was going to ask it, but I'm feeling compelled to do it. So, and please don't take any offense to this whatsoever. But did you ever feel resentment for your mom or either of your parents for that situation? And I know that's a tough question, and you don't have to answer, but
I don't mind. I believe in being vulnerable because my teacher told me once. He said, "You never know who your story can inspire," and so I believe in telling my story. So as far as resentment, me and my dad at the time didn't have the best relationship, but we are getting better. We are talking now, but we didn't have the best relationship at the time. So at the time, yeah, I did. Honestly speaking, from a father-son relationship, I'm not gonna hide or lie, but I did have resentment towards him at the time because of how I thought he viewed my mother, but I didn't understand his side of the story. Because he has a side of the story. My mom has a side of the story. It took me growing up to realize that.
Wait a minute. It grows wonderful. It grows wonderful. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Absolutely. It is. I had to grow up. And then, but for my mom, although sometimes I thought it was a little unfair that I had a lot of responsibility on my shoulders that I did not ask for because I didn't really get to enjoy my youth like I wanted to. I had to kind of play catch up in college. But I don't regret it because it made me the person I am in college, and that's what's taking me to the next level that I am now. And so I'm never regretted, and I never resented my mom for what it is because I knew my mom was trying her best. Now, if my mom wasn't trying her best and she just left the responsibility, it would be completely different. But the fact that I saw her put in effort, trying her best to do what she can, I was like, I can't be mad at her. Because, I had to realize that, one of my mentors told me this, and it helped me shape a lot of things. He was like, people have certain things that they have inside of them, and people are going to give to you what they have, and that's all they can't give you more if they don't know anymore. So, and once you realize that about people, it's just like, wow, okay, yeah, I can't be mad at you.
Yeah. I've got just a couple of things happened. My dad was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago now. And so it literally took us 30 years. I'm not asking for sympathy whatsoever. But it took us 30 years and him being diagnosed with cancer for us to go on our first lunch date. Legitimately 30 years. And I don't regret anything that has happened in the past. I'm now able to ask him those questions that I just never knew. And I'm really glad you pointed that out because you're so right. Had he known better, he would have done better. He just didn't. He didn't know how to love a son, and a gay son of all. I mean, that's a whole other thing. It would have never happened. And so I cannot blame him for that. And so I'm glad that your story turned out drastically different because so many people are still walking around 40, 50, and 60 years old. Supposedly, you're supposed to have so much wisdom at that age. You should be able to learn from your lessons, but you're holding on so much resentment from the people that just gave you what they could.